So real fast before we get into today's video, I just want to show these are the rear brake rotors for the Passat, the ones that have the taller piece there. You can see it says it will fit a V6 4Motion Passat, all that right there. But these ones are too tall. Now if you go over here, these are the ones I actually need, and you can see from the side profile the much shorter one. So this one also says it fits the Passat. So I'm not sure, some or maybe earlier 4Motion V6 Passats take the taller one, but my car takes the shorter one. So again, learn from my mistakes. Make sure you check your car first, because you might have the tall one or you might have the short one. What is going on, you guys? Welcome to today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is our $1,000 Passat that we got about 2 weeks ago, and we're in the process of fixing up, making sure it's roadworthy for everyday driving, and also the very, very fun and exciting winter that is coming here to North Dakota probably very soon. I'm not stoked about it, but that's why we bought this car as a winter beater. It's all-wheel drive, got a V6. It needs a few things, but that's what we're here to do. So as you guys have seen, the used car market these days in 2022 is crazy. Cars are selling for like record highs, and finding a cheap car is getting really hard to do. So for us to find this car for $1,000, a car with AC, with heat, a V6, it's all-wheel drive, and it's a running and driving car. It's kind of crazy, and was a super, super good find. Now for $1,000, you can't expect a perfect car, and this definitely is not one, but I'm hoping to make this car a very reliable and a very good daily. So if you saw yesterday's video, the Passat got new brakes front and rear. Well, almost rear, the pads are new, but I ordered the wrong brake rotors, as you guys saw in the beginning of the video. The new ones will be here early next week, hopefully. But yeah, these ones, unfortunately, were the incorrect ones, and the top piece is too tall. So before we return them, if anyone has a Passat B5.5 that has a 245mm in the rear with this taller one and needs brand new brake rotors, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna return them and they can just go back to FCP. But the brakes of this car have been sorted. The next biggest issue in this car, when you put this car into drive, it's automatic, which I wish it was manual, but it is what it is. When you put the car into just drive, you can feel it catch a little bit, but it won't fully go. If you push the car over into the manual mode, the plus minus, it grabs no problem. You can go up the gears, down gears, it's all good to go. If you go down to 2, 3, 4, the low gears, also fine. Reverse, also fine. It's just in first gear in drive where the car won't catch and won't drive. Now, if you put the car into plus minus, into first gear, shift to second gear, and then push it back over into drive, it still works no problem. It's just solely first gear that seems to be the issue. So today, what we're gonna try and do, I have all these lovely pieces here. This half, all the product is from FCP, and then this stuff over here is just stuff to, like, you know, drain, clean up, and that kind of stuff. But we have 6 quarts of brand new fluid for the transmission, a new filter, a new gasket, drain bolt, fill bolt, and another gasket down there. I'm hoping fresh fluid, fresh filter will fix our shifting issue. If it does not, I mean, I'm sure this car needs it. It's at 141,000 miles. A trans flush is definitely needed, but I'm hoping this will solve our first gear issue. If it doesn't, it might need a solenoid or a whole bad transmission, which I don't think that's the case, but it could be. I don't know these transmissions very well. So it could be a solenoid, maybe a torque converter, something a lot more involved than just a filter and new fluid. But like I said, I'm hoping this will get us sorted. This morning I ran to AutoZone or Harbor Freight. I got this little thing right here that goes on top of those to pump the fluid into the transmission. Just a bunch of rags. This is our M17 to get the fill bolt right there out of the car. I had to pick up a new catch pan right here. I got a new razor. A lot of our tools that we brought from Germany aren't here yet, so just buying some stuff that I already had before. Brake cleaner, degreaser, some towels, and that's pretty much it. Oh, also I got this little heat gun right here. So doing a transmission flush on these transmissions is a bit more involved than, say, the O2J in that car. For the manual car, which I've actually never done a transmission flush in automatic. I've done it in a VR6 before, or the O2Js. Very, very simple. You pull the bottom bolt out, drain it, put that back, pull your fill bolt out, fill it up, it overflows, and that's basically it. With this one, you actually pump the fluid back in, gotta run the transmission, get it up to temp. There's a lot more steps in this than, say, a manual car, but I believe I have all the tools to do this, so let's get it. And then for any of you guys who have a Passat B5.5 like this one, and you have an automatic transmission and want to do a flush like I'm doing today, all of these pieces right here from FCP Euro, it's sold in one kit. The fluid, the filter, the gasket, all the drain bolts, all in one kit that I'll link down below. All right, so I've got the car up in the air. The first thing I'm gonna say, if you have a lift, that'll make this job a million times easier. It can be done on the ground, but obviously a lift just makes the job that much easier. So if you're looking at the car, you can see right there is our transmission pan. That's what we'll be working today. You can see off to the left over there is our drain bolt, and on the back side is our fill bolt. I'm gonna try and film this as best I can. It's just me, so hopefully I can get a good angle for you guys. So first order of business, we must drain the old fluid out. And I wanna say this one is like a 8 or 10, but I think the one on the car is different, so I need to check real fast. So I double checked, and in fact, the drain bolt is an M8 Allen. See, easy that was? Everything in this car, look at this. So easy, huh? I don't get it. There it is. Looking really, really dark. Hopefully there's no metal chunks though. And it doesn't smell like crazy burnt or like terrible, so hopefully that's a good sign. All right, so the pan is just about done draining. I'm gonna toss the bolt back here in a second, and then I'm gonna go around. You can see up here, I believe they're T27s, all the bolts that hold the pan on. I'm gonna loosen all those and drop the whole entire pan down. Alright, so drain bolts back in. Before I go ahead and start trying to pull these bolts off, which let me confirm, I believe it's T27. Yep, T27. I'm gonna go through the brake cleaner and just spray them all off, getting the dirt out of there. Because the last thing I want to do today is strip a bolt out. That would make me very unhappy. So I'm gonna clean all these out, and then we'll go through and pop them all off, which there is a bunch. You crawl to the side. A lift would be so much easier. Here we are. You go nice and slow, one by one. This is buttery smooth. I don't like every bolt on this car, just like a little bit of effort and it comes right off. Oh, watch this, ready? Watch. That was it. Next one. That was it. I don't know if someone's worked on this car before or this car must have been garage kept, I don't know. But every bolt of this car is clean and they all just, no effort, they turn. I'm loving this. This is nice. I'm getting spoiled right now because this doesn't always happen. I'm used to having to go through with like liquid wrench and like soak bolts for hours and heat things up, and these ones just like, they're ready to come off, no problem. No problem, I'm loving this. All right, at this point we're down to the last two bolts, this one, and the whole pan will come down. You can see it's already loose. I mean, like this thing comes apart so easily. Every bolt just came off, like no struggle. Kind of surprising. I hope every bit of this car is like this. It seems like it is, but I hope every bit is like this. All right, there's that one, and we got one more. Now there should be a lot more fluid still in the filter. That's going to drop down here in a second, and hopefully I don't make a huge mess. I also think putting this pan back up by myself might be a pain, but we got it. All right, so last bolt out. Okay. So yeah, there's so much of fluid in the pan. I'm just gonna dump out into here carefully. There's also two magnets in this pan, so we'll check those and see if we have any metal there, which I hope we don't. All right, well, that's fine. Let that sit, let this drip for just a second, and then we'll take a closer look. But at least from right here, looking up inside of there, it doesn't really look bad. I mean, I don't know anything about these transmissions at all, but it looks clean in there at least. That might mean nothing, but it looks nice at least. So I went ahead and moved the transmission pan out of the way. We'll look at that in just a second, but we're gonna go ahead and pull the filter down now. There should be two T30s that are holding it up, which this is my T30. There's one on the backside here. That's not a T30, maybe it's bigger than that. I think it's one right here on this back, well, this front left corner. I think one's over here, but am I on the wrong bolt? No, that's definitely it, but yeah, it's definitely bigger than T30. I'll grab a T45 and see. Alright, so I got a T40 and a T45. Let's see which one fits. That's our T45, 40. Okay, T40 is smooth. So we'll take out this one here and then one on that far side as well. I really wish this car was on a lift. It'd be so much easier, but it is what it is. All right, bolt check. How tight is it? Butter. Every bolt on this car is just butter. Like, they're not loose where it's gonna fall off, but they're just not like overly torqued or nothing stupid. Butter. Okay, we're so close. Last one. Working into the car sucks. Alright, there's our bolt. And then this should just come right down, I think. I believe this side pops in, like a little O-ring inside there. Let me readjust a little bit here. Try and keep all the fluid not on the floor. Yeah, great success. And you can see right here on this one, my O-ring stayed on here, or sometimes it gets stuck, but we got it. So there you are. Filters off, pan's out, fluids out. Not too bad. Let's go take a look and see how it's looking. All right, so let's see what we got. Look at the pan first. The fluid wasn't like insanely dirty. I believe these down here are magnets, or they're over here. Might not have it. Is it a magnet? Maybe we got some sludge down here for sure. You can see all that. But sludge is okay. We're looking for chunks of metal, which, I mean, you can see how that's like just sticking to that. So there must be some metal material inside there. But as for like big chunks, I don't see any big chunks yet. I'm gonna drain this back out and see for sure. But no big chunks in there. It's a bit shimmery, you can see through here. And then let's see over here with our filter. Actually, let's just go ahead and pour this out and see what we get. Let me pour it out up here. Is that metal or bubbles? Oh, it's bubbles, okay. I was like, oh man. But it is shimmery. Whatever that is there. Oh yeah, you can't see, hold on. I can feel it in here. Very gritty. I wish I could see inside there. You can feel like on this side over here, very, very gritty. So no big chunks, and hopefully the filter did its job and kept those metal shavings out of everything. But what's that? That's like a rock. That looks more like a rock than metal. So I don't think that's from the engine itself or the transmission itself. So I mean, definitely dirty fluid, but it doesn't smell burnt or like terrible. There's a bunch of stuff down here. You can see it's like sticking to the magnet. I'll clean all of that out of there. It's a bit shimmery here and there, but I don't see anything catastrophic. No chunks of metal, so that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned out, get our new gasket set on top, and then we'll put the new filter in, put this back on, fill it back up, and maybe our problem's fixed. All right, making good progress. Our pan here, completely cleaned out, magnets back in their place, new bolts are in. All we need to do is just put the gasket on and that's ready to go. And then under the car here, we can see we've got our new filter up and in, and the old gasket down there is off. So we're ready to put the pan back on and then start filling the transmission fluid. Whew. Somehow I got that first try. My gasket didn't get messed up. Alright, so we had a lot of bolts to put back in, and then we can go through and fill this thing up. So quick look under the car, we can see our pan is completely back on, all the bolts are snug down, and our fill bolt is now out. What we'll do next is take this piece here. It's going to screw on top of each one of these, and then we can use this to pump the fluid into the transmission. Now, what we have to do first is have the car, you can see it's leaning backwards right now. We want to have the car completely flat as I fill the fluid, so I got to find a way to have the car flat, but then still high enough I can get underneath it and pump the fluid in. But I don't currently have any jack stands because they're not here yet. Gotta make this work. All right, so I'll be honest with you guys. More than likely, this is not how Volkswagen does it. But in this case, it shall work. So we've got 2 spare tires up front, 1 and 2, and then the jack in the rear under the diff, and the car is completely flat. Now the rear tires are sagging down further because they're not actually on anything, but the car is flat all the way across. Now we can go through and fill up our transmission pan. All right, so here's our setup. We got our trans fluid down at the bottom. We have our pump up top. It screws right onto the top section here. This section will go up inside the transmission pan, and we'll simply fill it with fluid until it's overflowing back out. Whether it takes 1, 2, 3, I'm not quite sure, but once we see fluid coming back out, we know our first step is done. So this is gonna go up. Let me put it here actually. Let's see. I think that's more room somewhere else. No. I guess right there's gonna be it. Okay. So we're gonna go up inside of here. There's a little hole on each side of the little like filters in there, so just push it through the hole on the side. If I can get it to go in there. Okay. Come on. It's kind of a difficult angle to get this to go through, but we'll get it. There it is. Okay, so that is up and in. This kink's not great, but it should be fine still. And now we are going to pump. And hopefully this works. Ah, see, look at that. Oops, sorry camera. Alright, here we go. Yes, look at us go. Engineering. So I don't know if this takes 1, 2, 3, but once we see fluid coming back out of this, then we know it's full and our first step's done. All right, so a bit of a mess down there, but it took about 4.5 quarts before it started pouring back out of the pan. I put the bolt back in. Now we're gonna hop in the car, turn it on, and kind of go through the gears. Car is currently running. All we're gonna do in this step is simply put the car into each gear. Foot on the brake, of course, the car's not moving, but in reverse, then into neutral, then into drive. Just so it's going through a second the fluid and moving it around. So probably do this and go through each one maybe 2 times. Nice and slow, feel it catch, and then back up. All right, so I went through all the gears in the car 2 or 3 times, even popped it over to the plus minus mode. So our first step is done. Now what we're gonna do is turn the car back on, let it run until I take my temperature gauge over there, until I see the pan's at about 41 degrees Celsius. Then we're gonna go ahead and pull the fill bolt back out while the car's still running, fill it again until it's overflowing, and then we're done. Whew, okay, well, I've made a huge mess down there, but that's it. Let's turn this off. Okay. It was hot down there, but we did it. It ended up taking just about all 6 quarts, maybe like, I don't know, tiny little bit, but took almost all 6 quarts before it started overflowing again. So, I think we've done it correctly. We'll get it down, clean out my mess, go for a drive. All right, so she is officially back on the ground. Now before I drive the car, or at least test drive the car, I do realize that a filter and a trans flush might not fix my issue. We could have a solenoid, converter, something else bigger than just that, but I'm hoping that was the issue and the easiest place to start. So, see what she's at. All right, the car is on. Let's drop her down into drive. I didn't quite feel like catch. I'll put it over here a second. All right, so that I felt catch. I mean, a little bit, but let's see if it moves at all. If I can move it. No, you're gonna hear it kind of, it's slipping. So whether it's the solenoid, whether it's a converter, I'm not sure. For whatever reason, first gear does not grab, but I put it over here, and then literally no problem. So, didn't fix our issue. Regardless, the car's at 141,000 miles. It's probably never had a filter and a trans flush, so it was needed regardless. Our issue is definitely bigger than just that, whether it's a torque converter, a solenoid, something else in there, a wire, I don't necessarily know. I have no idea how these transmissions work, but sadly, we did not fix our issue. But we can drive the car around in the plus minus mode all day long. There's no problem there. I just want to have the normal drive working as well, which I might dive into further than this, but I don't know. It's a winter beater, has to last one season. The way it sits currently, it's still drivable, so I might leave it as is. The brakes are good. The transmission's been flushed out and got some new fluid in it. Next thing we gotta do is go through to the timing and fix all the leaks, but I don't know. I might just leave it as is. You know, even though the transmission is fixed, listen to this, ready? You didn't even hear it, because the brakes work properly. It's no longer metal on metal. Oh, that's so nice. The pedal's nice and smooth now. No more just grinding feeling. Ah, that's nice. So even though the transmission is not completely fixed, it's still plenty drivable and very smooth, so it is what it is. All I wanted today though, just a burrito. I want a burrito all day long. So right now, we're getting a burrito. So unfortunately, there's no Chipotle in Minot. I know, big sad. But if you search Chipotle on Google Maps, it takes you to this place, which I don't know how you say that, but that's where we're at, so we'll see how it is. All right, so this place isn't Chipotle, but it's also exactly the same and identical and literally all the same everything. So hopefully it's just as good. Got me a massive burrito with double meat. You always have to get double meat. I got some chips and queso as well. And they even have good old Rotors, the best. This is all I wanted all day. Just driving home in my Passat. I got a burrito. Life is good. My transmission doesn't work all the way, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, my friends, we are home safe and sound. Car drive is really good. I mean, it drove fine before. I just wanted to have the actual drive gear, but with new brakes, I mean, the car feels a million times better. And again, I didn't fix our issue, but the car definitely needed a transmission service, so at least that's done now. But with that, I'm gonna go enjoy my burrito. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Do not forget, be thankful for every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.